Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club. We have a birthday.
Did we figure out the actual number?
Oh, how old he is?
Uh-huh.
He's 30.
Ew.
Yeah. Can you imagine being in your 30s and a worm?
I would rather be a worm.
Well, good news. We're worms today.
Oh, no.
Play the theme song.
Earthworm Jim,
The soil he did crawl,
Earthworm Jim,
a super suit did fall. Jim was just a dirt-eating, chewy length of worm flesh, but all that came to a crashing end.
Earthworm Jim,
He's such a groovy guy,
Earthworm Jim,
he rockets through the sky, cruising through the universe, having lots of fun. Here comes Earthworm Jim, you know that he's a mighty one. Look out! Despite his great big muscles and his really big ray gun, Jim is still an earthworm, but then he's the only one with a super suit to make him really super strong. Jim can be a winner if we only sing along.
Earthworm Jim,
We think he's mighty fine,
Earthworm Jim,
a hero for all time.
Earthworm Jim. Hooray for Jim!
Groovy!
It's this guy.
Is Earthworm Jim?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was somebody else.
It's not SpongeBob SquarePants.
No.
Did you want to watch SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yes.
Well, we watched Earthworm Jim by accident.
You always do this to me.
He's actually 30 next month, but that would interfere with our Halloween plans, so we're celebrating his birthday early.
So he gets 2 birthdays this year?
No, not from us.
Good. 'Cause I can't afford that many gifts for a worm in a super suit.
No, Jim is like that. He's like a child born on Christmas. We're celebrating his birthday early because otherwise we all just want to celebrate Halloween. It's like, Jim, you are stepping on the holiday.
Yeah, it's all about Jesus' birthday.
Yeah. Wait, Halloween?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would rather not celebrate Christmas either. So Christmas baby and Christmas get lumped into Halloween.
Okay.
I get the whole month of December free.
Well, I don't know if that's how it works, but I'm not going to argue. We looked at the 4th episode of Earthworm Jim today.
The 4th?
Yeah, we skipped a few.
Is there any kind of running plot line in this show?
No, not really.
Okay.
Sometimes characters are introduced and they show up again. Like Turns His Eyelids Inside Out boy, who showed up again in this episode after we met him in the first one we watched.
I didn't even remember that happening.
No? Was he...
That was a long time ago.
Did they say his name in this episode, or was he just there? I can't remember.
I think he was just there.
Yeah, me too. The first episode we watched was about Jim trying to find a replacement for Peter Puppy. He was looking for a new sidekick. And Turns His Eyelids Inside Out boy was one of the possible replacements. I don't remember what he did other than turn his eyelids inside out.
I have a feeling that might be all he did.
It might be. But yeah, he's back.
Well, good for him.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Right, we have a non sequitur to get through first.
Yeah, this episode is called Day of the Fish, and it's written by Doug Langdale, who also wrote the first episode that we looked at. And it aired on September 30th, 1995. There were a couple other episodes in between the two, which I think could be worth looking at, but the reason I skipped us ahead to this one is because this is the last episode that introduces a new character from the game.
Oh, from the game.
Yeah. Oh, there's still plenty of new characters who get introduced, and some of them are worth us looking at, I think. But Bob the Fish and Number 4 are both introduced. And all the other game characters who were in the show were in that first episode. So, we're seeing everybody now. Everybody from the game,
And
at
that's
least.
it. The show ends after episode 4.
It is funny. I remember when we watched the first episode, I thought it seemed like they were trying to throw in everybody, even if some of them only appear briefly. The Queen was in it, Professor Monkey for a Head was in it, Evil the Cat was in it, Psychro was in it, Snot was there briefly, Princess What's Her Name. The only ones missing were Bob the Fish and number 4, but here they are.
We found them.
We found them. So we start with the cold opening that every episode always has, completely unrelated to the main plot. And in this one, the narrator tells us that Jim is trapped in a band of hypersteel, and Peter Puppy is chained up nearby, and the evil queen, pulsating, bloated, festering, sweaty, pus-filled, malformed slug for a butt, is approaching.
It's a long name.
Yep, that is her canon name. That is what was written in the game manual, and they try to use it in full whenever possible. She wants Jim's suit. That's kind of her whole thing.
That's kind of everyone's whole thing.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. They all have different reasons, though. I think the suit was made for her, which begs the question.
How's she gonna fit in it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, why was it made that shape?
I mean, I guess we see a whale wear it, but...
That's true. Now, if I remember rightly, Professor Monkey for a Head made the suit, and he made it for the Queen. And Psychro was hired by the Queen to retrieve it for her. But Bob, I guess, is just a free agent.
Yeah. Jim showed up on his planet.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole sequence at the beginning here is like a DeviantArt nightmare.
Oh. You mean because it's inflation?
Yeah. Jim tries to break free of the steel band by having the suit inflate, which doesn't work. So then Peter, puts his mouth on the hole and he inflates.
You know, the suck hole.
The suck hole that everything has.
Yeah.
And Peter's chains break under the strain of the inflation, and he floats away. And then Jim's suit deflates so much that the band just kind of falls off. And then Peter bounces around the room like a deflating balloon, and he ends up kissing the Queen in like a 90s anime moment. You know how we've watched all those 90s anime where someone trips and kisses a girl?
I can think of one.
It has happened at least twice, I feel like.
I thought that story was going somewhere.
No. Much like this story that we're watching right now. It's going nowhere. Does she die?
I'm gonna say no.
They do the kiss, and then all the air goes from Peter's body into her body. And then Jim puts a bandage over her mouth so the air can't come out, and everybody runs away, and she explodes.
Do you think this was somebody's sexual awakening?
Oh, I think everything was somebody's sexual awakening. No exceptions. People are weird, Mel.
I'm aware of that.
Most of this cold opening was just kind of not particularly interesting, but it did get one big laugh out of me, and that was at the very end.
Once again, evil is as grass beneath the mighty lawnmower of justice.
You're creeping me out, Peter.
It was fully in the way Dan Castellaneta delivered that line, I think, but it really got me.
I feel like he kind of carries this whole show.
Oh, yeah? The actors in general, I think.
Yeah.
Not just him.
Yeah, that's not fair to the others, because what's his face? Bob the Fish is great, too.
Rulers of the earth, let the fish fry begin!
Oh, hang on. Come on. Let me get on out here. Okay. Here we go. Now.
Destroy! Destroy! Destroy!
Yeah, and that's Jim Cummings.
Yeah. Pooh Bear.
Yeah. Now we're into the show proper. We go to the space station headquarters of the Astounding Galactic Hero League, where Jim is playing poker against Princess What's-Her-Name, Turns His Eyelids Inside Out Boy, and the mighty Hamsternator, Evil's stretchy-cheeked foe.
Why foe if he's a good guy? I guess he's a foe of the bad guys.
He's Evil's stretchy-cheeked foe. So he's the foe of evil.
Oh.
There you go.
Possessive.
Yeah. He's not evil stretchy-cheeked foe, but I did mishear it as that when he first said it, and I had to listen again. But he does also talk about how he's always fighting bad guys.
Yeah, that just served to make it more confusing for those of us that misheard it.
Yeah. I can't remember if we talked about Turns His Eyelids Inside Out Boy's voice actor last time, because he was pretty minor. But now that he's a recurring character, I feel like it's only fair to note that he is played by Dan Castellaneta, the same as Jim. The Hamsternator I'm not sure whether or not this was his first appearance. I'm thinking probably because he introduces himself, but he's a recurring character. I remember him from other episodes.
No, we'll never know. You skipped us ahead. We've missed so much of the story.
Also, he almost got an action figure.
Why?
I don't know. They made a lot of action figures.
That's true.
The wave that he was going to be a part of ended up being cancelled, so his action figure never came out. But there's photos of the preview model. So that's interesting.
It's a future that will never be.
Yeah, I was looking at the action figures earlier, the ones that actually got released. And man, there's some weird... There's like 5 different gyms, and they all have various... There's regular Jim, and then there's like battle damaged Jim, which is the suit with the kind of white outer shell ripped off, exposing the mechanics beneath. And I was like, I wouldn't have wanted that if I was a kid.
They should have made one that's just Jim as a worm.
Well, one of them, I think you can take him out of the suit.
No, I don't want the suit. I just want the worm.
Well, yeah, you could just throw away the suit.
I don't want to buy the suit
I
just
see.
to get the worm.
I see. Gotcha. Maybe they did. Maybe there was a plan to. The Hamsternator is played by Jeff Bennett, who also plays Peter Puppy and the narrator. The princess is surprised that Jim is winning this poker game. I was surprised about that too.
Why?
I don't know. He just seems like kind of an idiot, but he's thrashing them all at poker, apparently.
I feel like poker is largely luck,
Well,
and then just the ability to lie and read people.
yeah, do you think Jim is good at either of those things?
Yes, I think he's a great liar.
Really? I don't know. I did... Enjoy isn't the right word, but when Jim is responding to the princess being mad about him winning, he goes to great lengths to make it clear that they're not playing for money, because that would be wrong and illegal.
But my delicate pastry of bliss, we aren't even playing for money.
That would be a violation of our strict moral code.
And, laws and junk.
And I'm sure they put that line in because the censors asked them to.
Nah.
Jim wants to be doing hero stuff. He doesn't want to play poker, but the others are all taking a break because it's the weekend.
I got distracted looking at Earthworm Jim action figures because this one comes with a second worm.
A second worm?
I mean, there's Jim the worm in the super suit.
Yeah.
And then there's just worm body.
Oh, okay. Is it just worm body with no head?
No, he's the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if maybe the head was detachable and you could put it on whichever one you wanted. Yeah, there's one that's like underwater Jim, which is not a thing that's ever existed outside of that one toy. It's like his special
Jim's
diving
never been
suit.
underwater?
He's been underwater, he's just never had a special suit about it, to my knowledge. It was definitely created for the toy. Maybe they put it in one episode just to tie into the toy, the way the Mega Man show did.
Yeah.
So Peter Puppy enters with cappuccino for everybody, but he apologizes because they're out of sugar. And Jim sees this as his call to action. He pulls out his pocket rocket and heads to the nearest planet to borrow some sugar.
That feels a little excessive.
What, to go to another planet to borrow sugar?
Yeah.
I guess if you've got a rocket that you could just pull out of your pocket whenever you want, you probably would just zip to another planet for the most mundane of reasons. Just because you can.
No.
No?
I have a car and I don't just zip places for the most mundane of reasons.
Yeah, but you have to buy fuel. You can't just pull your car out of your pocket and hop on it and be gone in 2 seconds. There's a lot of extra considerations.
Because everybody loves the commute. That's the best part.
What if it was fun? What if you were doing Andy Asteroids to every place?
Nobody would want to do Andy Asteroids to every place because it's hard.
Yeah, and if you hit too many asteroids, you have to fight a crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
I can't fight a crow and drive at the same time. One or the other.
But, well, I don't know. I don't know how to drive, so I can't talk. I'm even one further step removed from flying to the nearest planet. Bob's just extra, He's just extra all the time.
Bob?
Jim. I know which one's which.
I don't know.
So now we go to the nearest planet, the one with the crazy worm-eating fish, as what's-her-name puts it, La Planeta de Agua. Bob, the killer goldfish, is here, being held in the air by number 4, addressing his underlings to try and rally them to destroy in his name. But they're just fish.
How dare you? Don't underestimate fish.
I'm not underestimating them. I mean, maybe I'm overestimating them. They're not going to destroy anything.
You don't know that.
We do see later on that they're not as dumb as they appear to be here. Like they've got some smarts, but they just kind of blankly stare at him when he asks them to destroy.
Isn't that what you would do if somebody stood up in front of you and tried to command you to take over the world?
Yeah, I'd probably just walk away.
You're a fish. You can't do that.
I'd probably just swim away. I'd probably swim right into one of those tubes that delivers salmon to the top of the river. You know the ones?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen those? Where there are rivers that salmon struggle to get up now because of human stuff. They have built these tubes that the salmon can swim into, and it sucks them up, and they just kind of go thump, and they shoot and you can see them rocket up this tube to the other end of the river. It helps them get over dams and stuff. It's amazing.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I hope the salmon have a good time, but I feel like they'd just be terrified.
Yeah, I don't think salmon have the higher brain processes to function or to process whether that's a fun time or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's funny to watch. It's just so sudden. So as I mentioned earlier, Bob is played by Jim Cummings, who we've talked about in this show before because he also plays Psychro, and he's great. I love him as both of these characters.
Yeah, he's a good voice actor.
I like a lot of the more casual commands he gives to number 4, like when he's lamenting here and he asks number 4 to pace back and forth for him while he's doing it.
Hey, I'm depressed up here. You want to pace around or something? Would you give me a little sort of... There you go.
He's his body by proxy.
Yeah, so for anybody not familiar with this character from the games, Bob the Killer Goldfish is literally just a goldfish in a bowl. And he has a hench cat, I guess. It's just a cat that carries him around. It's called number 4. I think number 4, in the game, number 4 is the only one. Whenever you come across a cat in Bob's stage, it's number 4. But there's also kittens, who I don't think have a name. There's just little kittens you would find sometimes.
This show has lots of cats.
Yeah, we find out in this show that Bob has various cat henchmen. Bob says that he wishes he had some mechanical arms and legs or a big juicy worm to eat. And then Jim arrives, introducing himself as a big juicy worm with mechanical arms and legs, and asks for some sugar.
Do you think he's going to give it to him?
I don't know if Bob has any sugar. No, he has a kitchen. There's probably sugar in there, right?
Probably.
And it's pretty rude that you didn't, now that I think about it.
Well, Jim did just show up unannounced to his whole planet.
Something I was thinking about, which is, probably me overthinking this, but that's what this show's about. With all the other villains, all the other characters from the game, none of them were introduced as new. Jim already knew all of them, which to me kind of implied that the first 2 games already happened and then the show happens. But Bob's the exception here. It doesn't really seem like they're familiar with each other.
Was Bob in both of the games or just 2?
He's in both of them. He's the boss of Down the Tubes in the first game, and he's the boss of Anything But Tangerines in the second one.
I don't think I ever got far enough to see him in the first game.
Well, his stage is the hardest stage in the game, in my opinion. That's the one with the submarine race, where the submarine cracks every time you touch a wall.
I don't even remember that.
No? That's the stage I always stopped at. It traumatized me.
Doesn't look super familiar, but I didn't play the first one a lot.
Yeah, I feel like if you made it to Down the Tubes, you'd recognize the screenshots pretty immediately. It's where I always quit. Even I streamed the game. After we did the first episode of this, actually, I streamed the game. And I was just like, I'm just going to play until I lose all my lives. And that's where I got to. Yeah, this is the stage. Because you have a timer before your oxygen runs out. And also, every time you crash the sub into a wall, it cracks a little bit more until it gets destroyed. It's too hard, if you want my opinion.
Yeah, why are you running out of oxygen if you're inside a sub?
I know, it's rude. So Bob tells number 4 to seize Jim, and they have a little fight until Jim ties a toy mouse to number 4's tail, and he falls in the water about it. Bob summons numbers 5, 6, and 7, and Jim asks what happened to number 1, 2, and 3.
Sadly, they have gone where all cats go.
Under the house?
No, the kid of heaven, where the milk flows like water and all the mice are slow. Come on.
They're dead!
Yeah?
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
It's okay. They're happy, somewhat angels.
Then, I don't know, they seem really bored and sad in heaven.
You want to chase some mice?
Nah, they're all too slow. Where's a sport?
I mean, what is the idea of paradise if you truly extrapolate on it? Because you would think it would be the ability to catch the mice. But like they said, there's no sport in it.
Yeah?
I don't know. I feel like the things that make things enjoyable are the things that we already have on Earth. You know?
It is funny that this is coming from a show based on an IP created by a very religious man. And then the show is like, yeah, maybe heaven sucks, actually. But, you know. Also, at this point, it wasn't clear to me if Jim was imagining this or not, but we see them again later, so I'm assuming he wasn't imagining this, and this was real.
We see one of them die and go up there.
That's a spoiler.
Guess you're just gonna have to cut it out then.
I guess I can. But should I? So Jim ends up surrounded by the cats. And then we get the interlude. I forgot that every episode has one of these.
Me too.
It's not always Evil the Cat, but it happened to just be Evil the Cat in both the ones we've watched so far.
It should always be Evil the Cat.
Yeah. Well, sometimes Evil the Cat is the main villain of the main story. So then it would be weird to cut away to a side story about him.
How would it be any weirder than what they're already doing?
I mean, yeah, okay. Point taken. So Evil is watching TV, and he's watching a commercial for cat food. A cat food made of sawdust, ash, and genuine beef spleens.
There does seem to be an Earthworm Jim action figure that's just a worm, and you can change his head.
Oh, okay. So both of our ideas came true. I saw they made some action figures for characters who are only in the show, and they made some action figures for characters who weren't in the show as well.
Wait.
Because there's an action figure of Major Mucus who never showed up in the show.
Oh, wait, no, this does come with the super suit. Fine.
Toy makers.
Throw out the suit.
Make Mel an Earthworm Jim action figure. Suitless Jim. Naked Jim.
Just want the worm.
Just the worm.
And maybe naked cave salamander.
Yeah, what about that? So Evil falls in love with the cat in the cat food commercial. That's basically the crux of this interlude. It's a lot shorter than the one in the first episode.
I don't remember it.
The one in the first episode, he got adopted by a kid and he was trying to kill the kid, I think.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, it was fine. Henchrat appears in this. He's a character who's only in the TV show. This isn't the first time that he appeared. Maybe we'll go back and look at the one where he showed up for the first time another time, but I wanted to skip to this one because of Bob the Fish. He's more important than Henchrat.
Fine, if you're gonna do him dirty like that.
But Henchrat is played by John Cassia, who also is the voice of Snot in this show. Snot didn't appear in this episode, huh?
Nope.
Evil imagines going on a date with this other cat, and she just kind of immediately turns evil when she's at the table with him.
Yeah, because she falls in love and she believes what he believes.
Yeah. We cut to him coming home after the actual date, and Henchrat asks him how the date went, and he shows a picture, and it's like, see for yourself. And it turns out that the cat he fell in love with was just a man in a cat suit.
The idea of that being real is incredible.
The idea that they filmed this commercial with a realistic looking cat that was actually a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The camera does wonders. Remember that Simpsons episode where they were painting the horses like cows because cows don't look like cows on film?
No.
No, it's the Radioactive Man one, I think.
No.
They got with the Radioactive Man movie that Milhouse is in. They're painting all the horses to look like cows. And the guy doing it is like, yeah, cows don't look like cows on TV. You gotta use horses.
What do you do if you want something that looks like a horse?
Usually we just tape a bunch of cats together.
Simpsons is funny. Everybody watch The Simpsons.
Debatable.
Well, Simpsons used to be funny.
I've never watched The Simpsons once in my life.
No?
Mm-mm.
Well, maybe we should do an episode about it someday.
I don't think that would work.
No? Why not?
The Simpsons isn't a video game.
That's true, I guess. Yeah, alright. I guess there's no way we could possibly do an episode about The Simpsons.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, everybody. Anyway, we're back at Jim now with the cats, and he escapes down the tubes, and the cats chase him. And this looks pretty accurate. To me, this looked pretty accurate to what the stage looks like. Although I'm looking at screenshots of the stage now, and I'm thinking, maybe my brain just filled that in.
Yeah, probably.
Now, no, it's pretty different. But it was underwater tubes, and that's what the stage is.
It's similar enough.
Yeah. It was enough to trick my adult brain into thinking it looked the same, so I'm sure it would have worked on my child brain as well. And now we get some various slapstick comedy of Jim dealing with the three cats. Which was your favorite?
Probably the slot machine.
Yeah, the slot machine was pretty good. Number 5 finds a slot machine and plays it. He lines up 3 fists on the slots, and then Jim's fist pops out and knocks him out. Where did the slot machine come from? It doesn't matter.
It's Earthworm Jim.
Yeah. My favorite, I think, was how he dealt with number 7. Number 7 runs into Jim disguised as number 7's disappointed parents, and 7 gets sent to his room.
Up to no good, eh? Your mother and I are very disappointed in you.
Very disappointed.
But me no buts, little mister. Go to your room this instant, and no supper for you.
I never get to have any fun.
I thought that was pretty good.
I would be disappointed too. He's running around in tighty whities the whole time.
Yeah, but I think he was my favorite of the 3 of them. It was a very Bugs Bunny one. Or even an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog-y one.
No.
No, Sonic would have married him. You're right.
It's the solution to all his problems.
Jim is about to shoot number 6 in the back with a cannon, but then decides it's too easy and he'd feel bad about it. So he goes and has a real fight with him, sort of.
Yeah, he's an expert in marital arts.
Yeah, I like the way that played out. I thought that was funny. Because he announces that he's a master of marital arts, but he is just doing martial arts stuff. And then when he's done, he just says, I meant martial arts, right?
I must warn you, I am a master of the marital arts.
Hey-ya! Wah! Hey! Kaya! Hooga! Ha! Ba! Nagila!
I meant martial arts, right?
And I don't know, something about the casualness of it, the way it almost felt real. I was like, yeah, that's funny. Good job, Dan Castellaneta.
I don't think anything involving a talking worm and a giant bipedal cat can ever feel real.
When I say it felt real, I meant the part, the part where Jim says, I meant marital arts. That part, it wasn't overplayed. It wasn't particularly cartoonish. It just felt like a real person being like, hey, I said that thing wrong. You know what I meant, though. He didn't say marital arts and then actually do some marital stuff.
Again, that's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Also, I laughed at number 4 arriving with Bob and just throwing him at him. Because I assumed it was the plan until the next shot when Bob yells at number 4 for doing that.
He's perfectly bowling ball shaped. He's a great projectile.
So anyway, we cut to Jim now tied down without the suit because Bob's in the suit. And, I never usually think about it, but every now and then they'll do something that makes me think about how this suit works.
Why?
Because you can just put anything in that suit and it's just part of it now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a cartoon.
I know, but when Jim's in the suit, I don't often think about the fact that he's actually just a worm. I'm just like, yeah, that's Jim, and that's Jim's arms and legs.
Jim doesn't have arms and legs.
No, I know, but I forget about that when he's in the suit. But now Bob's in the suit, and it feels weird to me. So Bob's in the suit, and having arms has allowed him to build 3 ships that he's going to use to conquer the universe. The Driller, the Pounder, and the Chomper.
Which one would you drive?
The Driller. What about you?
Chomper, obviously.
Yeah, I figured you'd go with the one that aligns with your career choice.
Why would I ever? It's just funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly would have pegged you for the Pounder. You flying around with a giant fist on the front of your ship?
It's not as funny.
It's not as funny, but it feels more you.
I'm going for laughs here.
Okay, well, that's fine. So Bob is planning to start with the Earth. So he and his cats will hop in the ships and fly away, and he leaves number 7 behind to cook Jim. Then we get the commercial break, which every commercial break in this show is always the narrator asking 3 questions that are very inspired by the end of old, like, serials, you know?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. And the 3rd question is always a silly one.
Will the Earth be conquered by this treacherous goldfish? Will Jim become intimately acquainted with the fishy digestive process? Can Peter beat an inside straight?
Not stinking likely.
Stay tuned to find out.
I like this tradition.
Just can't stop thinking about a jet with teeth.
Yeah, it sounds like you. 7 turns on a cooking show to follow the instructions. But since the host is making a pot roast, 7 decides that every instance of the word pot, he's just going to pretend the host actually said worm.
Today we're going to learn to make the pot roast.
Worm roast.
Okay, first step for a really bon Cajun-style pot roast.
Worm roast.
At first, I thought this was just like a dumb joke that was getting repeated too much, and I was like, okay, we get it. But then I realized it was setup that was very important.
Dumb setup.
Dumb setup, yeah, but setup nonetheless. They did actually need to have him repeat worm roast every time the host said pot roast, because that sets up that when the host says he needs a steel pot, number 7 thinks he needs a steel worm. And Jim isn't a steel worm, so he's no good. But then Jim points out a missile in the room. He's like, oh, that's a steel worm. So 7 tosses the missile in the oven, and he dies.
He dies.
It was pretty dark. It's pretty...
No, he just gets blasted up into space.
Well, he goes
It's fine.
He's in heaven now.
He went up to the clouds.
He has a halo and wings.
Yeah. It's a costume party.
We all know what this means. Jim just killed that man.
That man killed himself.
7 was my favorite, okay?
Well, now he's dead and in hell.
Now he's in heaven.
They seem to be the same thing.
No, Evil the Cat's in hell.
I've watched that Twilight Zone episode about that guy that dies and goes to hell, but he thinks he's in heaven.
I've only seen the Scary Door episode about that.
I mean, basically the same.
Jim has to figure out how to use his pocket rocket with no hands, and meanwhile, Bob has located what he assumes is the seat of Earth's government, an aquarium.
Yeah, I thought he was going there to, be more diplomatic with the fish, but he just kind of blows up the place.
Yeah. We go to Turlock here, population 206, the candied yam capital of the world. Turlock is a running joke in the show, because I don't think I've ever seen this episode, but I know Turlock, and I know these 2 old men who are discussing it. Like, every time the show comes to Turlock, we get these 2 old men, and they're like, why do you suppose aliens are always attacking our town? And then there's some punchline about it. I didn't want to talk about Doug Tennaple at all in this episode, but the one thing I will say is that Turlock is based on Turlock, California, which is where Doug TenNapel was born. So that's why it's here.
Gotcha.
This place definitely seems more Texas than California to me, though.
I mean, California's a big state.
Yeah, I suppose.
Popular media only ever shows us LA or San Diego or San Francisco.
Yeah, the good places.
Mm.
Shout out to all our California listeners. There's a whole bunch of you. I think California is our biggest demographic, actually.
I thought you said it was Pennsylvania.
No. Pennsylvania is like number 3 out of our American listeners. Or no, maybe it jumped up to number 2. I can look right now. Yeah, California. Oh, no, yeah. Pennsylvania's number 2 now. California's still number 1. 22% of our American listeners are in California.
Weird.
Hey, leave them alone.
I didn't say anything.
San Bernardino. I'm sorry that I didn't include you in the list of good places. I'm sure it's lovely. That's where most of our listeners are. No, we've got some listeners in San Francisco and San Diego and Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the highest up.
Bunch of people that accidentally clicked and listened to 5 seconds before leaving.
It has to be more than that because they're different percentage numbers. None of them are less than 1%. There's a lot of less than 1%. Man, you look at these numbers and you realize how many people listen to this slop.
I mean, if it's less than 1%, it sounds like they don't.
No, but I mean, there's like 20 towns that are less than 1% of our audience, which means that's got to be at least 20 people.
Wow.
A
high school classroom.
I'm not very good with numbers, but like if less than 1%, if there's like 20 different places that are less than 1%, and then there's also like 30% and 26% and 16%, then I feel like that's probably more than one person each. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, math nerds. Leave me alone.
Bully him. Bully him with your big math brains.
So these slow-talking old men are running characters, and they are wondering why they would choose to put the world's biggest aquarium here in the sleepy little town of Turlock.
Why you figure they pick a little town like this to put the world's biggest aquarium?
Don't know. Guess it makes more sense than when they put that world-class university here.
Does it?
Yeah, there's no students.
I feel like if it was a world-class university, it probably would attract students.
Well, it doesn't seem to be.
Because the thing about college towns is that they're like always these dumpy little podunk places whose only attraction is the college.
Hey.
It doesn't stop it from having people there.
Hey, there's plenty of stuff going on here in Dundee besides the 3 colleges. Come to Dundee, it's great here. We've got several
Dumpy
colleges.
little college town.
It's an art town and a college town. Yeah, so Bob arrives and starts destroying the aquarium. I also thought it was probably... It seemed weird to me that he showed up to attack the fish.
Yeah.
But...
like, it would make sense if he mistook the fish in the aquarium as...
prisoners?
No.
Oh.
As the government, essentially, as the president.
Right.
But he just immediately fights them.
Well, he doesn't even make any demands or anything. He just starts destroying the building.
I guess if you're going to be a tyrannical overlord, you're not really trying to be diplomatic. You're just going to smash up the joint.
I suppose so. How did you feel about the singing clam?
I forgot it existed.
I kind of liked it. It was a sudden and pointless joke that comes out of nowhere and goes nowhere, but I kind of like those. So, but Jim flies in, he knocks Bob out of the suit, and the suit falls in a tank, and now there's a whale wearing it.
I just started thinking about SpongeBob and the singing clams and that.
Yeah. Did they draw an audience?
They drew me as an audience. It was part of a song. What song was it from? I can't remember.
What song was it from?
I don't know. They were singing backup in one of the SpongeBob songs, but I don't remember.
I don't remember them.
Oh, it was in Jellyfish Jam. I think. Yeah, when he had to Pied Piper the jellyfish out of his house.
Oh, I have seen that one. I don't remember the clams, though.
They're the only thing I did remember. So yes, they did draw an audience.
What about this whale part, huh?
What about it?
I liked it.
I would have liked it more if it didn't end so stupidly.
I mean, yeah, the ending was a bit of a wet fart, but everything leading up to that I thought was funny. So there's a whale wearing his super suit. Jim checks a textbook to see how big a whale is, and the textbook says, whale is huge, worm is small. So he figures he can't solve this with violence. So he goes to the nearby university that I didn't realize was a setup for a joke, and he buys a degree in speaking whale, and then he comes up to the whale, and in whale he says, I am my suit back for please.
And then the whale just immediately responds in perfect English.
Yeah, and up to that point, it was funny. Like, and even like the whale speaking perfect English, I think is funny. But then it's just like the whale knows who he is and offers to give him the suit back in exchange for an autograph. And I was like, they could have had a funnier ending to it than that.
It was a wet fart.
It was, but the rest of it was funny. The textbook made me laugh. The buying a degree I thought was funny.
Nah, it didn't land.
Okay. Meanwhile, Bob is hopping around looking for water because he's still flopping around on the floor after he got knocked out of the suit. And the best he can find is a cup of soda in an aquarium.
Even though he's right next to a giant pool of water that the whale came out of.
Yeah, he's right next to there. But he hops in a cup of soda, and that means he's burping for the rest of the episode. You know, I've never really thought about the idea of a fish swimming in soda before. They probably couldn't survive that, right?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure soda lacks the things that water has.
Yeah, like fish.
Yeah.
But I did like his line.
How can anybody breathe this stuff?
That's good. So Jim arm wrestles the pounder and smashes it up. And then he uses the driller to perform dental surgery on the chomper.
Been reading about whether a fish can live in soda.
Can it?
The answer is absolutely not. The acidity of Coke or other sodas will harm the gills and remove the fish's protective slime coating. It wouldn't take very long for fish to suffocate and die.
Wow. That's sad.
Don't put your fish in soda.
No, don't do that, everybody. You don't have to. There are other ways to have a fish.
Preferably in water.
Yeah? That's the number one choice. Bob and his cats escape, but I forgot how. I guess there was like one extra ship somehow?
Wait, what?
Or did they get in the driller after the drill had been removed?
Let's see. Yeah, they just get back in the driller.
Oh, okay. Jim heads back to the Galactic Hero League, bragging about his victory over Bob the Fish. And Princess What's-Her-Name is just kind of like, oh, that's cool. Where's the sugar, though? 'Cause
oh, Jim.
That's all he left for. But he leaves again to go to the next nearest planet. The one with the worm-eating bird. And we see him getting his suit stolen by a chicken.
Seems to be a running problem.
Yeah, but it's okay because this time a cow fell on it.
I don't think the cow fell on it. I think it got thrown at it.
No, it fell on it. That's how everything ends in Earthworm Jim, with a cow falling on it.
No, I can see his... Wait, let me see. Oh, it's just because the suit flies off at such a weird angle. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it look like Jim was off screen throwing the cow.
No, I know Jim didn't throw the cow because he's usually as confused as everybody else about where the cow came from. This is just the running joke of every episode. All based on the fact that that's how you beat the queen at the end of the first game. A cow lands on her. Though in that case, you do launch the cow at the start of the first stage.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you do. You launch the cow, and then it comes back at the very end. It's a weird game.
Chekhov's cow.
Yeah, because you're not even told why you're launching that cow. It's just like, it just says launch the cow, and you can't move on until you do it.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, that was weird, and then you carry on. But then at the very end, the cow lands on the queen.
It's like the least weird thing that happens in that game.
You think? I do think it's a shame, now that all of the characters who are going to show up from the games have shown up. I think it's a shame that more of them don't, because there's plenty more characters in the game that just never show up here. There's Major Mucus, and there's that junkyard guy.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
The boss of the first stage, the junkyard man.
It's been a long time since I played the first one. I don't remember.
Do you remember Major Mucus? He's in both of them. I think in the first one you do a bungee jumping fight against him, but if you never made it to Down the Tubes... I
hated that one.
Oh, you did make it there, okay. I think that was after Down the Tubes. Maybe I'm wrong. In the second game, I think that was like the isometric stage where you have to push a balloon all the way to him.
I hated that one too.
Yeah, that one sucked. But Major Mucus never showed up in the show. Neither did Doc Duodenum. You remember him?
No.
The Duodenum guy. Which game was he in? I think he's in the first one. He's in the stage Intestinal Distress.
No.
He's a duodenum.
You can't just keep repeating that like it's going to spark a memory.
I'm finding a picture of him. I guess I can see why they might not have wanted to put this guy in the show, but...
Ew.
The Blind Cave Salamander stage was in his summer home, I think, but I don't think he actually appears in Earthworm Jim 2. I think they're just like, yeah, this is where he lives. Well, what did you think of this episode?
It's whatever.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's about how I felt about it too. I didn't dislike it.
I didn't hate it, but I was also not super interested in it.
Yeah, it made me laugh a few times. It's not the best episode, but it's not a bad episode.
Yeah.
I like this show in general, and I think that's largely down to the voice cast, who are really good.
Yeah.
But the writing's okay. It's a lot of non sequitur. I like non sequitur. I think it's funny.
I think it can be funny.
Yeah, but there's a line,
but I
right?
think it can, yeah, there's absolutely a line where it's just too much.
Yeah, I think Earthworm Jim does cross that line sometimes. You want to know about the legacy?
Is it the whale in Jim's supersuit?
You wish. It's Le Planeta de Agua. I think. Now, if there's any like big Jim heads out there who know better, please correct me. But I don't think that the planet was ever named in the games. I don't think they ever said the name of the planet that Bob was from. The stage is just called Down the Tubes, and I went and I checked the manuals, and it never says the name of the planet in those. So I think this show was the first place the planet was named, and that has become the name of the planet. Like, that's the accepted name of the planet now, so...
Well, ain't that fancy.
Thanks, this episode of Earthworm Jim, for giving us La Planeta de Agua. I'm by the way, I'm going to be editing the Arriba in every time I said the name, because that's part of the name.
Oh. Is it?
Yeah, every time they ever say the name, they always add in that Arriba afterwards, throughout the entire course of the show. And even, like, to the point where every time I could find the name written down anywhere, they had put the Arriba in parentheses afterwards, so...
Stupid.
So that's the name of the planet. Are we done? Did we do it?
I guess so.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy birthday, Jim.
Next month.
Look, people might be listening to it next month.
Never gonna let it go.
He's away, all right? He's on vacation. We have to celebrate it now.
Wouldn't it make more sense to celebrate it when he was here?
No, he's never going to be here.
So we're celebrating it when he's double not here.
Yeah, we're celebrating in his absence. And we're going to open all the presents.
Oh, it turns out it's actually things that we like. Isn't that funny?
Wow, Jim, I bought you Sonic X Shadow Generations for your birthday. I guess I wouldn't want it to go to waste, so I guess I'll play it and keep the pre-order bonuses.
Whenever you come back from La Planeta de Agua,
I'll let you watch me play it. No, he can't play himself. There's only one save file on here.
It's his gift.
He can watch me play it. That's my gift to him.
If you have it on PC, just move your save state.
I don't have it on PC.
What do you have it on?
PS5.
Ew.
Yeah, I know.
Then nobody can win.
Exactly. I don't even have a PS5.
You can say you have a PS5
well,
at this point.
I've commandeered Joe's one.
Doesn't Joe have two?
Yeah. But I've only ever used this one once to play Spider-Man. John Spiderman.
John Monster Hunt.
John Monster Hunt, where are you?
I was in one of your quests one time and I never forgot it. I forget what we were doing. I think it was Colv Terrath.
That sounds like you, yeah. You're always Colvin Terrath.
Yeah, I like shooting her horns off.
Yeah, you do. Thank you to Jamie Core and Mark Kelly, our club VIP members.
Thanks.
We love you. You can join them in the VIP club by going to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and signing up for, I think, any amount of money. I'm pretty sure it's set to take whatever you want to give us.
Even if it's one single dime?
Patreon might not allow that, but I would. I'm Skull Pirate Mike. Come and find me on the internet. Blue Sky is the main place I'm at right now. And Twitch.
I'm tired.
Hi, tired. I'm dead.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You didn't like that one?
No.
No? I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sorry. Did it.
Ugh.